Testing, testing, 1, 2, testing, testing, 1, 2. Let me know if y'all can hear me or can't hear me. You should be able to hear me. Let's make sure my audio is good before I start to before I start the show. If you do, well, since it's on YouTube, you don't have to do the StreamYard thing with. I don't think you have to do it. That was just Facebook. If I was streaming to Facebook, you would have to do it. But let me check and see if I have audio. Then I'm gonna go ahead and start because I got a lot of stuff to cover and I don't want to spend a whole lot of time doing it. So let me check my YouTube feed and see if I got audio. Not getting any audio from there. So let me check. Testing, testing. Should be getting audio. I just can't hear it on my end. So the audio should be good. I'm not hearing it. Why am I not hearing it on YouTube? Make sure I'm not muted. Well, let's see, where is it going? Test, test. Testing, 1, 2, testing, 1, 2. All right, volumes are up. Testing, testing. And I think my stream has frozen. Yep, I think my stream is frozen. Oh, no, I didn't hit play. All right. Okay, I have audio. So that's good. Let me do one more thing first. Let me get my drink because it is kind of humid down here. Let me aim my fan so I have good circulation. I got everything that I need to get started right here, probably except for my MacBook power supply. That monitor is on. Phone. Little MacBook. Headphones. Little drink. All right, cool. All right, I got a second MacBook up here in case that I need it. phone right there. Let me type up some notes. All right, if y'all can work with me today, I cannot find my glasses, so I can't see my monitors that are further away. Turn that on high. Hopefully that won't be blowing too loud into my mic. So I'll tuck it into my shirt. All right, who we got out here today? If you would let me know how my audio sounds, because I have a fan blowing on high into my face, and I want to make sure that I'm heard and that there's not a lot of wind noise going into my mic. I have to delete some banners. All right, so if y'all could, please type in the comments and let me know if my audio is good before I get started. And so right now I'm just adding a few banners here. So um, when I start to change topics, you'll be able to know what topic that I'm going into. And it's simple. It's only going to be 4 topics. Computer setup for Windows, computer setup for Mac, backup recommendations, and some bonus tips that I'm gonna leave for you. So I guess other than that, I am ready to get started. And I have a whole bunch of stuff setting up here. I need to get, I guess I might just end up waiting to that point, and I'll set my MacBook up so you'll be able to see how I do my Mac stuff. How I have my Mac set up. But anyway, the reason I'm doing this is because there's been a lot of issues, people having problems with their MacBooks where their Macs are. All right, hold on, let me get this. Where their MacBooks are having issues. All right. And I need to open up another one of these so I can. need to get rid of this one. All right, there we go. Need to remove that. And mute that. Mute that one. Test, test, test. Okay, I don't need that loud. Need to mute my speaker. Test, test. Okay, good. You can hear me without hearing me twice. So right now we're about to get into computer setup. Right, make one more quick adjustment. Monitor, I need to pull it out. Alexa, turn off Studio One. All right, hold on a second. I need to tag somebody. And the reason that I'm tagging this person. All right, the reason why I tagged that person, because that person had just did a post. I mean, like just did. As soon as I finished, if you seen the live promo video that I just did a while ago, right before the show started, it was right after that, right after I finished the live and started to share it to a couple groups. I went and probably not even 2 posts on my timeline, somebody was mentioned something about something that I'm going to be saying related to today's topic. So I want to make sure that I send that and forward that link over so she can come and check it out. And if there's any questions, that I'll be able to answer it there. Where's my StreamYard link? Okay, there we go. Move this toward the end. Okay, so now let's get started. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What's up, everybody? Welcome. You're here with the kid, aka Kenyon Ellis, Atlanta DJ's own Tech Tuesday Live podcast created for DJs and musicians. But there's also other stuff that I may say that also other people can relate to, just like the topic for today. Now, the topic for today is computer optimizations, computer settings, just my own personal stuff as for how I set up my computers. So today I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna show you the best way to set up your PC if you're a Windows user, and then I'm gonna log on to my MacBook, which this is a 2011 MacBook Pro 17-inch. I'm gonna log on to here and I'm gonna show you how my settings are on here. And the reason that I use customized settings besides the basics is the third topic, which is backup. To back up your data makes it a whole lot easier. And you only need to back up one thing, or you need to back up a lot less. So let's not do do a whole lot of talking. Let me go ahead and get started. The first one that I want to get to today is where's my banners at? We're gonna do how I have my stuff set up. Now, the setup that I'm about to show you now is on the computer that I'm streaming from. This computer is a custom built computer. It's a Ryzen 7 38 3800 processor. It has 32 gigs of RAM. Has two onboard hard drive, which are SSD NVMe or M.2, which they look like I don't have any sitting around, but they look like RAM chips. They look like chips that will go either in a laptop or somewhere else. I have two of those on board. I got a 1 terabyte, which is for storage, and then I have a 512, which is my operating system and my programs. Now, the way that I have everything set up, what I'm about to tell you for Windows, it's going to be the same for Mac. There's just going to be just minor differences as for how it's set up. But you can set up each one in the same way, which makes it a whole lot easier. But when you get down to the advanced settings, the advanced stuff is going to be a little bit more different and difficult. So let me pull up a screen, Windows Explorer. And let me share that screen. All right, so this is my Windows Explorer screen right here. Now, this is what I want you to see right here. Let's close these for right now. We don't need networking to be shown. Right now, I just only need you to see the main ones that I have opened up, or the ones that you see right here. Now, for Windows, there's going to be a difference that I don't do for Mac, because the Macs are mobile, the Macs are laptop. My Windows are desktop, and even if I had a Mac desktop or an iMac or a Mac Mini or something like that, I still may not set it up in the same way. Well, I still may set it up the same way that I do with the laptop. But the reason that I do the differences in with my MacBook, I got two partitions. Each one has an operating system and programs on it. But on my Windows, I only have one. And the reason why with Windows, because Windows 10 lasts a lot longer than the Mac operating systems. I think every September, whenever they introduce the new Apple products, there's also a new operating system every year around the same time. So every year for Mac, you got a new operating system. Let me just name some: Yosemite, Maverick, El Capitan, Sierra, High Sierra, Mojave, Catalina, and what's the newest one? I forgot what the newest one is. But anyway, that one is about to be replaced, because coming up either this month or next month, there's going to be probably a new one. I don't remember what it's called. I haven't really been keeping up with it. But with Mac, every year there is a new operating system. But Windows, the operating system lasts for like almost a whole decade, depending on the stability of it. If it's something unstable, like Windows ME. Windows ME had a short life. Windows 8 had a short life. Windows Vista had a short life, but ones like Windows 7, Windows 10, um, Windows 95, all those different operating systems, they had a long life. So there's no need of me installing different operating systems when the one that I'm using can basically work for all. The only way I would do that, or the only way I would do that to this machine, is if I want to experience Windows 11. I have no machines right now with Windows 11 on it. They're either Windows 10 or Windows 7. And I even have some that have to have XP or older on it because the programs for the hardware that's connected to it needs an older operating system. So I have a custom computer specifically for those devices. But anyway, enough to it. Right here, you see Studio 2A. That's my main drive. That's my main drive right there. That's where my Windows is stored. That's where all my programs are stored. Right here, you see this is my Windows right here. And right here, program files. I got programs there, 62-bit and 32-bit programs that installed right there. So that's my operating system and program drive. Now I also have a drive right here that's called storage, which is full. Now the Studio 2A and the storage drives are the drives that's mounted onto the motherboard inside the computer. There's no external drive like any of these or any other type drive, anything that require cables. They are virtually noise proof, fast, and efficient drives that are mounted and work directly with the motherboard for the fastest speed that I could possibly get. So that's why I want those two there. I want my program and operating system and my data here, which I keep everything separate. The advanced stuff that I'm going to show you later is going to be how you can migrate your stuff, because by default, let me show you by default. By default, all your stuff is stored here on your C drive or your main drive. So whenever you save a program, like if you're doing a document in Word, when you save it, most likely it's going to be saved here because it's going to be saved on the main drive. What you can do when you're installing that program, you get an option. You get an option. You usually would get an option where you want the actual program to be installed. Let that stay at default. Do not change that. Don't change it. Let it stay in the default location. And I wouldn't recommend changing the actual program to one of the storage drives, because in the event something happens, like if your operating system or if your main drive fails, you're still going to have to reinstall the program anyway, because Windows has files that it needs to have installed on its drive as well as where you save the other one. So there's no need to doing that. Just let the program stay, because the thing is, in the event of a failure, you can recover the program better than you can recover the data. The data is the most important, which to the backup, when I get to the backup point, you'll be able to understand what I mean by that. So what you want to do, again, is let your programs go to the natural drive. Now, if you get, and you may have to check options and read through as you install the program. You may get an option where it may ask you, where do you want to save your data? When it asks you that, then you can direct it to another drive location. But for right now, let that stay where it is, because I'm going to show you how you can change everything at one time for all your programs at one time, very easily and safely than what you would if you were changing it in the program. So like I said, this is where everything's safe. So the issue that you have when you're working on the computer, and this is most likely if you have one drive, you're going to have this issue. If you have two drives, you're not going to have this issue. Or well, you will still have this issue if you don't make the changes. As you start to, and let me get let me get my let me get my tablet so I can do some stuff on the screen. All right, now I'm gonna see if I can get this to work. All right, now I need to note whatever this is. I don't want to do that. All right, so let's go back here and make sure. All right, let's go back to my main. All right, so there are my drives right there. Let me, and like I say, I can't see without my glasses at this point, so I need to move up a little bit. All right, need to turn on my whiteboard. may not be able to use it. I don't see my whiteboard. All right, not gonna be able to do it right now, but let me see if I can explain it so you'll be able to understand. It's inside. All right, so I need to bring myself back on screen. All right, hold on a second. Got to find my cursor. Okay. There we go. Oh. All right, there we go. So right now, as I was saying, I'm on the right one. I'm not on the right one. All right, here we go. Right here, operating system, that is the 512. And as you can see, I'm using about half of it right now. And that's because I got a lot of programs installed on here. Like I said, there's not any data installed on here. There's mostly programs. If I would have left all the data, which is over here in storage, this one will already be filled. So I separated the two to where I have enough room for my programs. It won't make my computer run slow. And then I have my data right here. So when I get ready to do backups, this right here is the primary one that I need to back up. Now, eventually, either I want to start moving some of this to another drive, like programs that I'm not using, like maybe installation programs. Since I don't need them on there right now, take them off. Take them off, save them to another drive, save them to a flash drive. Shoot, burn them to a DVD, just somewhere that I don't need them right now. In the event that my operating system crash, I reinstall Windows, which is very easy to do. You can get Windows for free to reinstall it. You just got to have your activation and have my programs, which, like I said, if they're the same programs that I install from here, I already have them backed up. So the only thing I need to do is to find that disk or find that media where I have it saved and reinstall it. But losing all your data, so losing all my files and stuff that I have here, music that I have stored on here, let's see, videos, and I got a lot of videos, OBS stuff, like old podcasts, review videos, how-to videos, stuff that I have saved on here. You lose that, it's gone. So this is the important drive to back up. That's why I always separate the two. Put your operating system and your programs on one and your data on the other. Like I said, when I get to the end, the bonus, I'm gonna show you how from the start, from scratch. If you already have this um, set up by default, where say you only got one drive, you got one drive installed, and it's starting to fill up. So then you add another drive. You install a larger hard drive. You install a larger hard drive in there to okay. You install a larger drive in there to save all your data to, so that your main drive won't start to run slow. Now, another thing to note, when your when your main drive starts to look like this, when it starts to get into the red, that's where you're going to have issues that it's going to start running slow. It's best to either get a larger hard drive, or back up your stuff once it gets about 15 to 10% close to full. This is probably a little bit beyond this point. But the thing is here is that since none of these are my main drive, I'm only using up less than half of my main drive. I'm good. I'm in the clear. I'm still in the blue. It hasn't turned red or orange, anything yet. Now, with the red and the orange and the data, that's not a major issue, because that drive serves the only purpose, which is keeping my data storage. Here's an example of how this works. Imagine your money. Let's say you got $1,000 right now. You could take that $1,000 and carry it around in your wallet, put it in a home safe, or stick it in your mattress. That's like the storage drive. I mean, that's like the main drive. You're keeping it on you for all times. Now, the more money you start to carry, you become a risk. The more money you save at home, there's a bigger risk. The more you have in your mattress, there's a bigger risk that you're losing it, compared to if you took that $1,000 or more and you saved it in a bank or another storage area where it's more safe, where it can be backed up, where it can be recovered if you do the recoveries for that drive, and that's the storage drive. So if you save, say if your bank is your storage drive, that's where you can unload unlimited amount, or a large limited amount of storage into it. So that's what you want to put in there. That's analogy that that you can use for that. Saving your money at home is like your operating system and your programs, or your main drive. Saving it in a bank is like your storage drive. That's how you can separate the two. And with that, you can add as many storage drives as you want to in that computer. If it's a desktop, you could add a lot more. You could not only add like the M.2 chip that I have for my storage now, but you can also install regular drives, which this is not one. Let's see, I think I have one right here. And this is one of my actual storage drives. You can install more drives like this in a desktop, or more drives like this in a laptop or desktop. And for each one, you could have whatever type of data you want on it. I can have, like, for instance, for this storage, I have everything on it. I have everything across the board: documents, videos, music, documents, music, videos, photos, everything, including saves for programs on here. Now, what you can do, and I haven't really gotten to this point yet. I'd rather just get a large drive and just save everything on it so I can access it quicker. And if I start to run out of room, like what I'm doing here, then I start removing stuff off and save it to offline storage. So in the event that I need it, I can just go back to it and get it. But what you could do, you could add another drive, just like the next drive right here. This is a drive that has my music on it, and it's in a configuration as for what you would call a RAID. I'm not going to really get into that. I'm just going to explain real simple what a RAID is. A RAID is two or more drives that's used to either do redundancy storage or redundancy. Well, there's in layman's terms, there's different ways and different methods with different types of RAIDs that you can use in order to do your storage. You can do a RAID to where you expanding across several drives, making one big, long, huge drive, which I don't recommend. Or you can take duplicate drives. You can break it up into segments, which this is what I'm doing here. I'm breaking it up into segments where part of it saved here, part of it saved here. It makes it a lot faster to read. But then you can also do it to where this one, your data is saved here, but then it's also saved here. So in the event that this one fails, this one picks up. Then you put in a new drive and then it clones it back over. You have a clone, or basically you have a backup, a working backup. So in the event that one fails, another one fails. And then you have a combination of everything else. I think there's probably like, there is actually, I think up to RAID 10, but I don't know. I don't think there's actually 10 of them. I'll probably say there's probably at least maybe 5, which are the most common ones. But if you want to know about that, look that up. RAID, there's different types. There's 0 up to 10. There may be even more, but look to see which one that you would want to use. But I have that one run. I think that one is run as a RAID 5. Like I said, it's 2 drives. They the exact same drives, exact same size. And when I save data to it, it's split. Some of it saved here, some of it saved here. So that way, when it writes faster. When it reads faster because it's not reading from one drive. It's reading from 2 drives. It's just like having 2 motors. You have a motor that controls your left and your right wheels, or you can have a motor, one for your left and one for your right, that runs in tandem to run everything equally and at the same time. So that's what a RAID does. But anyway, with what I was saying is that you could have several different drives. You could have a drive that has your music on it. You could have a drive that has your documents. You could have a drive that has, and this is only if you have large files of all this that you would want to do this. And so when you need to find something, you're just going directly to a drive, or you have that program to be directed to that specific drive, and which when I get to the bonus segment at the end, I'll be able to explain that a little bit more. But that's how I have my Windows set up. I have it split up on this one. If I'm doing and like I said, I don't really need to do a split partition with 2 operating systems for Windows, because like I say, Windows has been out, the version that I'm currently using has been out long enough where everything's worked with it. Right now, I don't have an issue where programs are asking me to install Windows 11. I'm still using Windows 10. And like I said, some machines, I even have Windows 7. So those two programs are still my go-to programs. I'll probably start playing around with Windows 11 maybe in the next few weeks or whatever. But Windows 10 right now is working for me. I'm just now, it took me a while to where I didn't want to use Windows 10. I was so familiar with Windows 7, and then going to Windows 10 was a change, was a big change, because there's big differences between Windows 7 and Windows 10, and I'm not for sure whether they did that same thing with 11, but I'll find out eventually once I install it on the machine and start playing around with it, get familiar with it, stuff like that, because eventually Windows 10 is going to expire. Everything is going to require a Windows 11, so I had to get to that point. But enough of that. Like I said, separate everything. Separate it into 2 drives, because your most important drive that you want to back up is the storage drive, or the drive where you have your data. And the reason why I say that is, let's use this 2 different examples. Example A, you have a computer failure. You find out that your main drive is the drive that's gone bad, that died, or whatever. Now, if that is the issue, I would not put in a lot of work of doing recovery, especially if you think that you have data on there. Trying to recover that is really not important. If you have the programs to reinstall on there, the operating system is not that hard. So that is the least thing that you would want to do a recovery from, because all you have is stuff that you can recover from, either different media, download, or whatever. You can get that back. You can get that back. That's example A, if your main drive fails. Now, example B, if your storage drive fails, but your main drive works, you're gonna have 2 issues. You're gonna have an issue. One, if you have it set up to where you have your because either you can have it set up to where, one, you can have everything to be saved on the main drive, and then as the main drive starts filling up, you just copy it over to the storage drive, which that is time consuming. But in a beginner's aspect, that may be what you want to do. But then again, you're going to have to put yourself into the habit of copying stuff off of there onto the other drive, because then again, if that main drive fails, you just lost everything that you didn't back up over to the secondary drive. But in the event that your main drive is okay, your storage drive fails, and you have it set up to where everything is automatically saved to the storage drive, even with that main drive working, when you try to open, and it may happen even with Windows, but I've never tried it. What I would have to do is take my storage drive out and then reboot and see what will happen. But everything with Windows is on there, so I don't think that will be an issue. I think the issue that you will have once you get your computer booted, it may not see anything. It may have hard time trying to find even the most simplest thing, because that simplest thing was on your storage drive. So you may not be able to boot up until you get that secondary drive or that storage drive complete. So that's why it's important to back up that drive, or to save your data to that drive. Because if you go with A, having everything on the main drive, you lose everything. programs, data, operating system. In this way, in this method, and that's only if you back up that storage drive, you can recover that back and be able to get that back. Because if you take a clone program, and if you clone the storage drive, that storage drive fails, and you clone what you saved onto a new drive and put it back, use the same drive letter. That's another thing that you have to do. You have to use the same drive letter. You have to use the same file structure, the structure that your files would name, so that when a program or the operating system tries to read it, it'll be able to find it. So that's it. Like I said, most important thing, back this up. This is not important. This is really not that important. You can live without this. You can probably find the programs. And like I said, if the programs was something that you had on the storage drive, save it to an offline media, save it to a flash drive, save it to a DVD, save it somewhere and put it away until you need it. So that right there, that wraps it up for Windows. All right, let's get ready to move on to the Mac. So let me set up my Mac. And I'm hoping that wasn't one of my drives. That was an empty box. Okay, good. That was just a box and a remote control that fell and hit the floor. Another thing about drives is safety. Doing this can be actually hazardous to the drive. I'm not shaking it real hard, but just shaking the drive because it has moving parts inside. So you don't want to vibrate it that much, especially doing it like this or shaking it in any manner. You want to make sure that you be careful with these type of drives. These are regular mechanical drives, whether it's that one and especially these, the larger mechanical drive. You want to make sure that you handle these very carefully, especially making sure you're not touching this side of it. Always hold it by the side. Never hold it here on the board. Always hold it by the sides. Now, these two are the same size drives. They're both SATA 3 drives. The difference is this one is a solid state drive, a lot faster, no moving parts. This one is a mechanical drive, which uses magnetics to be read and write. Moving parts, very delicate. Drop this one, loss. Drop this one, less of a loss. This one is like a large flash drive. That's all that I would say. These are large flash drives. So you got to be careful. You got to be careful with your drives. And just to let you know, this is a bad drive, so not really worried about that one. All right, so let me get my Mac booted up. Let me get my Mac booted up so I can move on to that part. All right. All right, I need to send this link over so I can log in. I have too much stuff going on. Let's see. I didn't send the right link. Okay. All right. Almost there. Test, test. Test, test. Okay, cool. All right. I need to shut down a lot of these windows that I have open. All right, so now we're ready. Okay, where am I here? All right, there we go. Got clicked off. So now we're ready to do my MacBook. And what I'm doing here, I've invited my MacBook as a guest to where now you see my MacBook, which is right here in front of me. So right now, what I'm saying, this is my 2000 2011 17-inch MacBook Pro. It has 2 hard drives in it. And I can show you with the 15-inch how those drives are installed. Now, I also do installation and customization for those as well. This is a 15-inch. Removing the cover off so I can show you. And what I'm probably going to do is do an overhead if I have my overhead set right. Hold on a second. I got to open up another program. So once I open this program up, then I should be able to do my overhead cam, which is mounted above. If it hadn't been moved out of position, should be in the same position. So I could do an overhead and show you. Okay, it is. I thought it was tilted out of position. All right, so I'm gonna close this for a second. And switch over. Now this is the MacBook Pro. The battery has been removed. This one has to get a new battery installed. So the battery will go right here in this area. You have your RAM right here, your 2 cooling fans, your processor is up under there. Now, this is the main drive. This is your main drive right here, and this is a 1 terabyte drive. And then right here, where you would usually have for this particular model, you would have a DVD drive. I've removed that out, put in a hard drive caddy, put a hard drive, which is the exact same drive as this one, and then put it in its place. So now I have 2 drives. And I'm trying to. Okay, I can't do that. So, like I said, this is my main drive. Like, as for what I showed you in Windows, this will be my Studio 2A drive. This will be my storage drive. I have them set up the exact same way or similar to, where this only has operating system and programs. But with this one, with this particular one, the way that I have it set up, I don't have it to where it sends everything over there, because this is the 1 terabyte drive. This will probably fill up a lot slower than what it would with what I have, because the drive that I have a 240 in mind, which I always use smaller drives as compared to larger drives, because with a smaller drive, it makes it easier for me to back up, because I don't have to have a real large hard drive to back it up. I can have like a 500 gig drive and be able to back it up. I can have a 1 terabyte drive and back up multiple MacBooks with the same size drives. And it keeps me to the point where when I get close to being full, I know that I need to go and remove stuff off, or I need to upgrade that drive to the next larger size. So I usually go with a smaller drive and try to save as less as I can data wise on there as possible. And I do occasionally, because in some of the programs you're going to have JPEGs, MP3s, you're going to have media files that are actually used by the programs. So when you see that, you're going to be like, oh well, the what he mentioned didn't work. Yeah, it's working, but it only works with your data files. Those are media or data based programs or files that works with your programs. So those are needed by the programs. So disregard the use of that, because those are needed by the programs, and it doesn't really need to be saved onto this drive. So make a mental note: storage drive. I mean, no, main drive, storage drive, main storage, main storage. Because what I'm about to show you in my computer is going to be a little bit different. Mine is going to say 240 right here, and then it's going to be 2 terabytes right here. All right, so let's put the cover back on this one. Set it to the side. All right. Get back to the screen. All right, okay, so I'm back to screen. Now I'm opening my MacBook back up. So, all right. Okay, so I need to go back to sharing my screen again. All right. Another tip also, and I've mentioned this several times. I only do this occasionally because I'm going to give you 2 tips for Mac users right now. I'm going to share this with the Zone members in a few minutes, but I'm going to share a tip with you. If you need to do screenshots, if you hold down Option, I think it's no, Shift, Command, and F3. No, or is it Option, Command, F3? Was it Control, Command? Okay, it's Shift, Command, F3. I'm trying to remember because I usually occasionally I'm just used to putting my fingers on the right keys and then hit the number. But if you hold down Shift Command and then hit F3, no, excuse me, Shift Command and the number 3, it will take a screenshot. And as you can see, I'm doing it multiple times and it's taking a screenshot. Now, when I click on it and open it up, as you can see, that's what it did. It just took a screenshot of my desktop. So I want to delete all those, and then I got a few more here that I didn't realize I took. delete those. Now, and the other tip. Now that was Shift Command and 3, a full screen. Now, if you want to do a partial screen, Shift Command and 4 will give you a cursor right here. And say if I want to do a capture of this moon, I would drag over it like so. Don't have it squared off right, but I guess that's close enough. And then I let it go. And you see right there, it created a snapshot. Now, by default, it saves on your Mac desktop. And I guess I need to go to this one now. That it goes to your Mac desktop. So close that one. And the reason I'm sharing these is because most of the time this is why you see stuff on my desktop, because I've did a snapshot of stuff. I've used it in another application. Either I sent the picture to somebody or I forward something to myself or whatever. I basically took a snapshot what I have on screen and I sent it to somebody or somewhere else. But in some occasions, I forget to delete it off. So like this one, Command and delete. But then I also got some stuff here. So let's see what this is. Okay. I can delete this one too because I'm done with this. This is a flash drive I'm working on. I'm not for sure. Okay, that's something for native instruments. Need to keep that. Oh, nope, I don't need that right now. I need to move that. I can get rid of that. That's a photo I had sent to somebody, so I don't need that one. This is probably the same. So most of the stuff I don't need. These 3 I don't need. This one is an installation. Okay, what happened? Hold on a second. Lost. All right, I lost my desktop. I lost my screen share. So let me get my screen share back. So the reason that I say clear off your desktop, because the desktop for Mac does not work the same as Windows. So make sure that you clear it off, because every time you have something there, it's basically running. Just like when I get it open back up, I have the Serato. I have a Serato program that's open. Okay, where am I? So what had happened, my window had closed with now I gotta share my screen again. All right. All right, so here we go. As you can see, I cleared out most of the stuff. This right here, these two right here, I can send these into let me send them here so I know where they are. Nope, I don't want to copy. And oh, here's another thing too. Copy, paste, copy, cut, and paste is different on a Mac than it is on PC. With Windows or on the PC is control X for cut, control C for copy, control V for paste. Now the copy and the paste part will be the same for Mac. You're just using command in place of control, because you do have a control key, but you're using command in place of that. But when you're doing a copy, it doesn't work the same. So when you're doing a copy, you're doing this. Take those same two files, drag them over to the same place. As you can see, I have a plus sign. That plus. Now, when I hold down command, the plus disappears. So then when I let it go, it's asking me, do I want to, basically if I want to write over what has already been saved, because I copied it over there when I should have cut it over to make sure that it's gone off and that it's saved. So I'm gonna apply to all and I'm gonna hit replace. And as you can see, it's moving. And that's what it basically does. They move instead of cut and paste. So remember that command, holding down command as you drag it will move it, or it will cut and paste. All right, like I said, I'm giving you tips about other stuff along the way as I mentioned them. All right, so now let's get to the main of it. First, let me show you how my drives are set up. So I'm gonna go to about this Mac, and I'm gonna go to storage, and this is how my drives are set up. How can I zoom? Nope. Let's see. Okay, there's no way you zoom. I'm just hoping that you can see what's in front of you. Now, my main drive, like I said, is a 240. Now, I have this drive broken up into two different partitions. And in order for you to see that, I will need to open up this utility. And right here, here's the other partition. Performance is the other partition. Since that format is a different or a newer operating system than the one, it is a APFS. Yeah, APFS, which is the Apple file system. And the other one is a HFS, which is an older one, Studio. So these are actually on the same drive, but it doesn't show on the same drive because the way that it's made is completely different. So I actually have two partitions in this case, but right here you're only seeing one. So I have it split up evenly, 120 apiece. I got still 20 gigs left. Guest operating system is almost 50. Applications is almost 23. And audio files, I'm not for sure whether that is program based audio or if that's actual audio. But it's not the audio that I have saved on my main drive or that I have saved for my main drive programs, because I have them saved right here in storage. And as you can see, that started to fill up. This is a 2 terabyte drive. I had this drive split to what is it? I think I had it 1 point. It wasn't actually a 1.3 and 700. Well, yeah, it was. It was 700 for storage and 1.3 for music, which is what I use Serato and my other applications for. So I put all my music is here. Music and videos are here. And as you can see, I also have some backups saved here too, which I need to back up to an external off. And then once this starts fill it up, I split it into a second storage. And now I have stuff saved here where the stuff that I save here is stuff that I don't need here. I copied it here, and then later I transfer it off the drive. So instead of me taking the time going through, picking through, finding out what I need here, as I go along, I'm like, oh, I don't really need this anymore. So then I copy it over here. So then I can take it off. And then anything else that I'm currently saving, that I'm adding to it, I add it here so this one won't get completely filled up. But everything for my programs is here. Anything that I'm adding, like downloads or whatever, anything that's external, that's coming from external, is added to backup too. And that's in the slot that I told you where the DVD drive is saved. So like I said again, operating system and programs on the main drive, data, music, video, photos, documents, downloads, everything else, all the important stuff is saved on a larger drive in the other slot. And like I say, the analogy is like this. It's like having $1,000. Either you can have that $1,000 in your pocket, risk that you could lose it, in a safe in your home, risk that it can be stolen, or in your mattress, risk that it can be stolen. With those risks at home, even in your safe, is a possibility that it can get stolen and not replaced. But like I said, with the storage drive, if you have it saved on another drive offsite, which is the next available bay or the next available slot, that you can have it backed up to other different locations. So in the event that it's stolen, lost, damaged, or whatever, you just pull those backups and recover it. So just think of it like that: $1,000 at home, $1,000 in the safe. It's as simple as that. And I guess that's it for Mac, because there really isn't that much more of a difference between the Mac and PC, other than the way that if you want to have it set up to where where it's automated, to where when you're typing a document and it's auto saved, it's not saved on the C drive, or it's not saved on your main drive. It's saved to your storage. So if your document crashes or whatever, and it restarts, and it crashed for a reason that was Windows, or a reason that it was Yosemite or Catalina or whatever, once you get that issue taken care of, it's going to pull the data off the drive where it was initially saved. But if you have it saved on the drive that actually crashed, then you lost it. You probably most of the times you probably lose it. And recovering a drive is very expensive. I looked at um, when I was looking at parts yesterday. I think yesterday I looked at what does Micro Center charge for data recovery. Now, for anything under 1 terabyte, I think it was okay. I think it timed out. Okay, it timed out. It didn't. Battery didn't go down. It just timed out. But anyway, I was done with it. Um, under under 1 terabyte is like $1,300, and a that's not including the diagnostic fee. That's just and then like I say anyway, when you're using these data recovery servers, they do not guarantee that they can recover everything. And as I was looking through there, if you're a DJ, you want all your music recovered. You're not worried about partial of it because the thing is you don't know exactly what you want recovered. You just want everything recovered or as much as possible. They're gonna say, okay, what's the most important stuff that you want? And in most cases, um, when people get stuff data recovered or whatever, it's usually like baby pictures or wedding photos or stuff like that. That's valuable and that's important that they won't recover more than anything else on there. More important than tax files. More important than vacation photos or whatever. It's the stuff that you can't replace that they won't recover. So in issues like that, that's what they shoot for. That's what they try to find. When they find it, like, okay, Miss So and So, Miss A, we found some baby photos. We found the baby photos. People are happy. They at least got that. They may have lost a lot of the stuff, but they at least got that. So in most of the cases, I had to pull up Micro Center's website. And I must not be typing something right. All right, like I said, in most of the cases, you're gonna lose everything. There's no guarantee that they can back up everything. If it's for physical damage, you really are not going to get a lot of stuff back. So I wouldn't I wouldn't count on it. Now I had a drive that had a loss last week. I was able to recover everything back. So if you need some data, drives that need recovery or whatever, hit me up. Let me know. Let me look at it and see exactly what the issues are and see if it can be recovered. So now I guess we can go ahead and bump on into the next one, which is our backup recommendations. And while I'm doing this, I'm gonna go ahead and open up what I saw for their services. Oh, that changed the website. Yeah, they changed it. Oh, here we go. All right, so let's share this. Okay, where is it? Oh, there we go. All right. So this is the data recovery services for Micro Center. Okay, now I'm not for sure exactly. Now, on just to let you know, on top of this, they do like a $40 just for you bringing it in. There's a diagnostics test, and I guess they use that to determine what steps. If it's something that they can do same day up to 3 terabytes, it's $400. And if I remember right, they changed this website around since yesterday. They charge I think a $40 diagnostic fee, and then it's $400 on top of that. And then I think you have to, or I think that includes the drive or something like that. So it goes up. If it's over 3 terabytes, it's 500. And this is light service. The first two is light service. If it's something hard, maybe something that takes a couple days, or they have to send off to an actual recovery service, this is what you're going to end up spending starting off. If the larger the drive, the more you're going to spend. And it doesn't get any cheaper. But I mean, I do some services like this. So I made that announcement to a lot of the guys in the zone. Get your drives over to me, and I can see if I can recover it. So, my backup recommendations. Now, like I said, your storage drive for your Mac and your Windows, you have that separate from your programs and your operating systems. Now, let me hold up. I'm gonna show you some recommendation of drives that you need. Now, personally, I would recommend drives like this. This is a drive that I have. It's not, and let's see if I can flip it over. I bought it from, I bought it from Goodwill. I don't know if my camera's going to zoom in on it. There we go. $11 working. It had I don't think it had a 500. I think it had a 1 terabyte in it. But anyway, I replaced it and put a larger drive in it. So now I use this as a main backup, not an operating system backup or a data backup. I use it backup for data over all the computers, not just one personal computer, but all of them. But I will be setting up others soon to back up more, or to back up individual computers in the event that some crash. Now, if you don't want to spend, because with that drive is on site. That drive is what you have right then and right there. Now, another drive that you want to go to, this is the largest drive that I have for backup. This is 5 terabytes. I'm not for sure exactly how much they cost. I think I paid like maybe under 100. They had a sale a while ago. I think they were under 150 or 100 and something. I should have got another one, but I didn't. I'm gonna be looking out for it next time. But this is a Seagate. This is a 5 terabyte. I can back up all my studio computers on here, but what I have on here now is all my music, and it's full already. I already have it full, so I got to go through and clean it out, remove all the duplicates, and a lot of files and stuff that I'm not going to leave. It's neat, especially corrupted stuff that shows up in Serato, like corrupted. But these make perfect backups. And what you want to do once you back up your backup folders or your backup partitions or whatever to it, you back it up and you store it away. Unplug it, put it away until you need to back it up again or until you need to do a recovery. This is one of my recommendations. The other recommendation is this right here. This is a lacy drive. This is more of a portable, durable drive. It has a rubber bumper on it, so it handles impacts a lot more. This one came with a 500 gig drive. I took it out and replaced it with a 2 terabyte. So in size, this one is next to the other one. This one has well, I had something happen to the drive. I recovered it. I got it back working. So now only have maybe like a few, probably not even 100 gigs on it. So now this is going to be a backup drive. I haven't decided on how or what, but this is going to be a backup drive. All right. And this right here is another drive. This is also a lacy drive. Another recommendation for a drive is called G drive. I think this was called G drive, which is similar to the Lace brand. This one is a desktop version of this. So this one sits on my desk. This right here shines blue. It flashes when data is being transmitted across it. On the back, the connection that it has an eSATA, which this computer here has an eSATA. I think all 3 of my studio computers have eSATA, which is probably the fastest connection on here, because the next connection that I have is a USB 2.0, and then I got 3 different firewire ports. 2 800 megabyte firewire ports, and then an older 400. So the eSATA would probably be the fastest to use, because it's like using where's the drives at? It's like connecting the back of here onto here. So this end up being a lot faster. But these are the drives that I recommend. The last recommendation that I would make is making your own drive. And I've recommended this so many times, to making your own drive. Now, making your own drive is easy. You can go to places like Micro Center or either on Amazon or whatever, and you can buy an external case. It's missing the back on it, but you can buy an external case. This one is called Nexstar. I think I got this one. I got this one from Micro Center, and they can take up to maybe I think like a 8 terabyte or maybe a 10 terabyte. I do have another external case that you can put 2 drives in. It's a lot older, and it can take up to 4. It's pretty old, and I think it doesn't work now. The power supply went out on it, so it doesn't even work anymore. I would still like to get it to work and put 2 drives in it to make larger hard drives, but anyway, I don't have the option anymore. So now I have something like this. I can just go and buy a regular drive, a regular hard drive, and take my cover, take it out of it, take my drive, and let's flip over to here. These out the way. All right, so Here's my caddy right there. And all right, there we go. We're in Zoom. This is my port. This is where my connections for my drive is going to go right here. So I put it up front, set it down. As you can see, it's not making contact. I push it into the slot, firmly seated in there. It's seated. Now, usually I don't do this, but at this point, I recommend, especially if this is going to be the permanent location for this. So once you get it, and as you can see, I don't know if you can see right here, it's firmly seated. Take your screws, screw right here, screw right there, flip on the other side, put your 2 screws right there. That secures it in place. That secures it in place to where it's not going anywhere. And that's it. You're done. Take your cover. Put your cover back on. And I think I put this one on backwards. There we go. Put your cover on. Put your back cover on, which I don't have right now. Put your back cover on. Screw right here. And a screw right here. And then that's it. Your power plugs in right there. Your USB cable plugs in right there. Then you have your on-off switch. The only thing with this one compared to this one, it doesn't have an internal fan. This one has an internal fan. Also, I have, since I'm mentioning it, let's see if I can get it over here without. I have another one. This one right here, as you can see, it has a fan directly under the bottom where the driver goes. This is the Antec. Oh, it unplugged itself, so I guess I can remove it now. So now, what I would do with this one, let's take the same drive out. And like I said, it's very simple, but you want to be careful with the drives. Make sure you don't bump it. Make sure you don't drop it or anything. And hold it along the sides. So now my fan is here. It's going to cool off the circuit board, which is what you want to cool, because these chips have a tendency of getting hot. So it's seated in. Push it in. Now push it up into the slot. It's in the slot. It's secured. And that's it. I think this one, I'm trying to remember where. Oh, this one doesn't have screws. This one has a bracket that mounts along the side and it locks in. When you slide it forward, it locks in. It has tabs over here along the side. Right here, 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 and here. So when you push it in, it locks that in, and then you have I think you have a screw that goes up through the bottom. And not only it keeps it from moving, but it also keeps the cover on. And then that's it. You got an external drive. Now, the thing is, I don't recommend taking these anywhere. You don't want to take these anywhere. Keep them at home. Keep them like on your desk or someplace. So when you come in at night after event or gig, it's either powered on already. Even if it's powered on, is since it's not being accessed, it just the fan is going to be cooling it off. It probably won't be really running as much, which you can go ahead and do. Connect your cable in, go ahead, do a clone or backup, whichever one that you prefer to do. And let's see that. So this foot must go with this one. Because one of these is missing a foot. Yeah, there we go. And these usually cost about $25 for these, with more electronics and more cooling, bigger case. You're going to spend a lot more. These may be $40 and up. So choose one if you want to build. And then also, as that drive starts to fill, you just take it out and put in a larger hard drive. Where with these, it takes you a little while to replace the drive. These are not really recommended to replace the drive, but you can. It just takes a little bit more than those in order to replace it. But like I said, what you want to do, you clone your storage drive. You clone your storage drive mostly. Now you can have two of these. And this is a recommendation that I would suggest too. You can have two. You could have this one to clone or back up your main drives on all your computers. You could have it to where the only thing this one does is back up your main, whether it's Time Machine, clone program, or if you just use the native backup program inside Windows or inside Mac to back it up, which Mac is Time Machine. So you could use this one to back up your main, and you can use this one to back up your data. But when something goes wrong, this is the one that you really want to have. Just by backing up your programs and your operating system means that you spend less time installing Windows. It's no more than just taking your new drive, connecting it, cloning from here to there, boom, you have it done. Now, also make note that if you backed up and say if it was virus related or a bad file related, and you just clone that issue onto here, you're going to have that issue here. So also when you do a backup, make sure you have multiple backups on it. You don't have just one backup. You have a backup that may be a week or 2 weeks old, and then you have backup that you just did yesterday. And then as you start to get more and more backups, you start to remove your older ones to free up more space. And the thing is, it's okay to have a hard drive that's full with nothing but backups, because guess what? They're only going to be backed up, or they're only going to be needed whenever you have a failure. So it's not something that's going to cause it to completely run slow forever. It's just going to be whenever you need it. But like I say, another good suggestion, have a backup for your main, have a backup for your data. Have two backups. If you have multiple computers, then use this one for all the computers for your main. Use this one to back up for all your data. And it usually, when you want to back up, and it's going to depend on the size of your backup drives. If you have backup drives that's 1 terabyte or higher, you want to go with the higher terabyte backup drives, which would be probably 5 terabytes and up. And then it also depends on your computers too. As for your programs, your data, you probably don't need no more than a 5 terabyte drive, unless you're using a lot of space on your main drive. If you have a 1 terabyte and you have up to your operating system is going to be, no matter which version that you use, Windows or Mac, it's going to be no more than 30 gigs. So if you're using up 30 gigs and you you have a 500 gig drive and you have like 10 gigs less left, then either you got a lot of programs that use up a lot of space, you don't have your data separated from your drive, or something else, something there that's using up a lot of your space, then you need to figure that out. You basically need to figure that out. If you're using up that much space, but you don't have the programs to allocate how much of that space is being used. So, like I said, that's another thing. Like I say, have a backup, at least five terabytes for your and this could be the thing too. Have something this size for your operating system. Have something this size or larger for your data, because your data is always going to increase more than your operating system. So that is for that on what section was that? And we're almost done. That's for backup recommendation. Now, let's go into the next section. These are some bonus options. Now, I'm not going to go into this in depth. I do have another video. If possible, I will see if I can tag it or add it right here to where you can go to it and you can learn how to do that. That is the Operation or hashtag Operation DJ Superhero. Now, and this is usually for Mac. I won't usually do this for Windows because the same operating system will be used. The only way I would do this for Windows, if I want to separate my personal stuff from what I use from when I'm DJing. And whenever you're doing DJing or music, you want to separate that from what you're using from doing video editing, from what you're using from watching YouTube videos, from surfing the internet, from downloading stuff, all your personal stuff. You want to separate the two. And that's why I named it that. And let me create a banner for that. I never did create a banner for that. All right. So this is what I call it. And let me stop it from scrolling. Let's see if it'll hold. All right. Operation DJ Superhero or Performance Boot. Let me explain the first part, which is the Operation DJ Superhero. Now, the reason why I call it Operation DJ Superhero is let's break it up into two components. let's take over here. You have your Peter Parker, your Bruce Wayne, um, your Clark Kent. Three well-known superheroes that have alter ego. They are normal people by day. So in relation to this of your computer, this is what you use for your normal day-to-day computer. You use this to do your school work. You use this to do your work. If you use it for your business or your work computer, use this for your personal computer to do whatever personal stuff that you want to do. That's the alter ego for that. Now, on this hand, you have your Spider-Man, your Superman, and your Batman. These are your superhero alter egos. Now, with this, these are the ones that are disguised, that are out there doing the work, that is performing. They're doing a majority of what you need to do. Now, how this relates with computers is like this. You have two different partitions. You partition your hard drive, 240. Yeah, if I'm right, this is 240. Nope, this is the 120. So let's say this 120, I divide it up, and it's possible. I divide this up into 260 partitions. Now, with 160 partition, I have the alter ego air compressor. Now, with let me just go cut that off. I wasn't expecting that to come on, but I guess when I used it earlier, I guess I didn't realize it was going to come back on. All right. So again, two partitions. You got your normal, and you got your superhero. With your normal, you're doing your day-to-day task over here or whatever. 120 drive, you splitting it up, 60-60. Now over here, you have an operating system and your programs that you're using in your day-to-day stuff. Now, let's say in the evening, you have an event or you're DJing a gig, and you want your computer to run flawless without any issues or whatever. So you would shut it down, you would reboot, and this is for Mac. You would reboot holding the option key. You get a list of options. In those options, how I have mine set, I have one that name, like, okay, for instance, the one over here, the normal one, I call it Studio. That one has like I do everything on that. I do everything on that partition. I don't want to boot to that partition. I want to boot to this partition, the superhero partition, which is what I call performance. Right here, performance. So I go to performance. Guess what? Performance is like a brand new computer. When it boots up, and usually I will have it to boot to a newer operating system or an older operating system, something that allows me to work the whole spectrum of operating system. Because when you have with Mac, like I said earlier, the operating systems always change. They change every year. So when operating system change, then you have programs change, and you have hardware from some programs that change to where they become obsolete. So by having an older operating system, I can still use my older device, like my Rain 57 mixer, my SL boxes for Scratch Live. I can still use all that stuff because I have that operating system installed. But I also have the newer operating system that I can use for all the newer stuff, like a Rev 7, a Rain 1, a Rain 57, a Pioneer 1000 SRT. I can use it for all those different hardware and programs because I have the two operating systems. And like I say, with that superhero, with that performance boot, the only thing I have on it is what I need to perform. I have Serato on it. I may have OBS on it if I needed to transfer video or to do something, or if I need to stream on it, if possible. I only have the programs on it that I need. And since I'm not using the music from off that partition, I'm using the music from storage. So I'm using the music from storage. I'm only using maybe 30 gigs of the 60 gigs for everything. And usually when I set one up, I do two different versions of the program, especially if it's Serato. I run a stable one, the more stable one. Then I may run the one that's under beta or the one that's right under beta that's semi-stable, that's somewhat stable. So in that way, if that one crashes, I can go back to the earliest one, which is stable. And that's it. Those are all the programs I have on there. All the programs I have on there are DVS programs. I don't have Chrome on there. Matter of fact, I don't use the internet if I'm not using like Tidal or Beatport or anything like that, which I haven't used that on those in a while. So you don't use the internet, you don't use the Bluetooth, and it's optimized a little bit more than the actual main drive. Because I'm not using those services, I want it to perform excellent. And so even with that 120 gig drive that I'm only using 60 gigs out of, but I only got 30 installed, which only means I'm only using half the drive. 120 gig drive, but I'm only using a quarter of it just for that operating system. And that includes everything. So once I shut down for the night, because anything that I have, my playlist, if I have it to where my playlist is saved and to where everything Serato based and saved, is usually saved to the storage drive. You may have some cases, well, no, it's not. It's saved to the storage drive because the underscore Serato underscore folders are saved to the storage drive and not to the superhero drive. Because the way that I have it set up is to where, and that's coming up in a little bit. If I kind of remember how to do it for Mac, I haven't did it in a while, and I only do it for mine. But for Mac, I have it set up and saved to where it's only everything is done is saved to those main drive. But like I say, the downfall of that is if the main drive, if the backup drive or if the storage drive fails, you need to recover that in order to use the main drive. You can't use the main drive without the backup drive, because once you try to use the main drive to read what was on the storage drive, it won't read, and it's a system data not found or whatever. So then you need to recover that in order for the main drive to work. That's like the con to that. But like I said, if you have it backed up, everything is going to work okay. So that's Operation Dual Boot. So now let's go back into Windows again. And let me show you how you can get your documents, your photos, your videos, your music, um, documents, photos, videos, music, download, and all that stuff saved automatically to that drive, to the storage drive. So all right. So going back to this drive. All right. So this is what you do. Real easy. Now you can do it from here. You can go here and open up to where you see your folders. And you have to do this for each one. All right, let's do desktop. And I already have it set up like this, so I don't need to do this and make any changes. So you right click on desktop, you go down to properties, you go to location, and usually it's going to have C:// user / the name of your profile, and then it'll have desktop. Now what you do, you click on move, because this is what you want to do. You want to move it from that location to this location. So then when you click on move, you want to direct it to where, and okay, it's not showing. It's not going to show. Okay, it's not going to show that open dialog box. As a matter of fact, it doesn't even show this one. So hold on, let me change this again. Let me change my Windows setup. All right. Okay, so this one, let me minimize this window. And kind of let me start over. So right here, and what I said, desktop. We're going to desktop. Right here, you're going to right click on it, highlight and right click on it, go to properties, then go to location, then go to location. If I click restore default, it's going to send it back to C. So what you're probably going to have is C:/ users / the name of your profile, whatever your profile is in / desktop. And you want to change that location. You don't want it to save to C drive. You want it to save to whatever this drive is. And it may not be E, it may be D, it may be F, it may be whatever, but whatever your storage file is, that's what you want to change it to. So you click on move, and then you're going to find it. So, all right, so that I want to save right here on storage. And what I said was desktop. And what I did here, since I have a lot of folders that are not related to data storage, that are just, storage for other stuff, I have it Studio 2A. I think that's where I saved it. So then I would save it here. And so whatever programs have data relating, well, no, that's desktop. So that's only whatever I want to save to my desktop. That's where it will go. And then you would do that step for each one of these. And then that's going to take a lot of the storage off your main drive and put it to here. And that's how you do it on Windows. Now, as for how to do it on Mac, it's a little bit different. And if you don't do it right, you could mess up everything. Took me a little trial and error in order to get it right, but um, I finally got it working. I got it working on there. So let's see. See if I can get this one back open. Wait a minute. Okay, that's not the right one. I had ended the broadcast. Right now, I gotta find just a second. There we go. So now, all right, there we go. Got that one open. Minimize this so I'm still here. I got to kind of remember how to do this one. So you go into system preferences. Security and privacy, I think. I may have to come back to this one. It's been a while. I forgot what I need to do in order to get to this one. No. I think it was here. Okay, yep, it was here. You go into user group, you click the lock to give yourself access, and you go into, well, let's go back out. Let's go out of this completely. So you go to the Apple, or you go to system preferences, which you can also go two other ways. You can go through Launchpad. What's a system? Where is it? System. Not system information. Nope, not that one. Launchpad. Okay, it's not here. Thought it was here too, but it's not. Uh, no, let's just go here. It's a lot easier. Go to the Apple top of the screen, system preferences, or you can type it in search. You can do Siri or whatever that you need to do to find it. Once you get into system preferences, go to user and groups. You're there. You need to give yourself access. So click on the lock, type in your password. And then right click on your username, click advanced options, and you're going to home directory. Now, I did this by mistake. I think I accidentally changed something here and it messed it up and I had to redo. I did a time machine backup, I think, and I redid everything over to get it cleared out. But make sure that you don't change any of this. You only need to change this line right here. And what you need to do, you need to choose it. As you can see, mine says volume storage, the kid. So what I'm doing, I'm taking the kid folder that would have been on the main drive and I'm moving it to a storage drive. So this folder right here, where all this stuff is accessed, I'm giving it a different access point. So this is all the data, videos, music, pictures. This is like music downloads, regular downloads, documents, stuff that's on desktop, which should be blank, applications, which you've seen is a lot of the programs that I have on the list is right there. So I'm not going to use this one. I would go to storage and see, there it is right there. This is where I want this one to be. So when I click on this, see, there's my desktop, documents, downloads, movies, all my data stuff is on my data or storage drive. So I'm gonna click cancel because I don't want to change that. But that's what you want to do. And once you do that, click OK. I'm clicking cancel because I don't want any of these changes to take place. And then exit out of this. You don't have to click on the lock. You can just exit. And then that's it. That's done. And that's kind of, with Mac, it's simpler because everything is done in one step. In Windows, you have to do each step. But with Windows, if you have different drives, like if you have a drive that you have videos on that you use for video editing, because videos can take up a lot more data than music. So you may want to have, and eventually I may end up doing it, probably soon. I end up having a larger video drive than I do music downloads or anything else. So then I would change my video drive, my video save, or my video favorites, video folder, to a different location that's not on storage. Which now, since I'm thinking about it, I'm probably going to do that real soon because I have a lot of videos. So I'm gonna start doing that. So then whenever I do videos, like if I record this episode or if I download this from YouTube or whatever, it will be saved to that drive and not the storage drive where everything else is saved. And in a nutshell, that is it. Yeah, I think that about wraps everything up in a nutshell. I know that it was a lot and it can be a lot and overwhelming, but like I said, you can always go back to this video and rewatch it. You can rewind it. You may be able to download it, but I suggest that you do. But the thing that I want you to do when you do that Or now at this point, make sure you hit the like button if there was something here that helped you. Make sure that you subscribe, because when I do these videos, they are spontaneous. They are last minute. I mean, down to the last minute. They are like last minute videos. They're based on ideas, thoughts, and stuff that I hear from people like you that I feel that I need to get out. And just today alone, I probably ran into maybe 2 or 3 posts of people or whatever that said, okay, this is the one, this is the show that I need to do today, because this right here will explain or help them with something that I feel that they need. So that's how that's how I usually come out. So make sure you like, share, and um, subscribe. Subscribe to my channel. Once I get to 1,000, I'm gonna start to do a lot more, which I'm working on right now. I'm gonna end up doing a lot more, doing reviews. I'm gonna be doing gaming. I'm gonna be doing a lot more stuff to increase this channel up to more travel videos or whatever. Which I do have some travel stuff that's on the editing board right now that needs to be edited or whatever. So make sure you like, share, subscribe, ring that notification bell, because if you don't hit that notification bell, you won't know when this show starts. And so either you end up missing the live, or you end up catching the replay. Now, since I'm thinking about it, I haven't been keeping up, and I wish they could make this to where the comments will actually post in real time instead of me seeing it. And I saw it earlier, but I didn't really pay attention to clicking it because I wanted to stay on track. But let me go ahead and hit the button and see. We'll have the Monk 1987. What's up, Ken? We're in here. Okay, who is this? I'm not for sure who this is. I did send the link to one person, maybe 2 other people or whatever, but then I shared it to like 22 different Facebook groups. So hopefully somebody seeing something here that helps them out, whether it's now or in the future. But I'm gonna wrap it up because I'm at 2 hours and 30 minutes, which is usually that's the minimum time for me. But anyway, that is about a wrap for me. I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in, Land of DJ Zone Tech Tuesday Live. I would also like to send condolences and prayers to my man, Neil. He just passed away maybe a day or 2 ago with cancer. We've been hearing, or people that were closer to him have been posting that his situation hasn't been improving, and just maybe yesterday or so, somebody posted, well, 2 people posted that he did pass away. So everybody send out your prayers and your condolences to Neil McKinley and his family. Me and him, we talked on separate occasions, not only in chat, but we also talked in real time. We actually met. I sold him, I think, either 1 or 2 of my Logitech webcams, and we sat and had lunch and had a good conversation. And he was a very humble and respected guy. And when it came to stuff that that I needed to know, I looked to him because he had a different expertise that I haven't achieved yet. So much prayers and respect to Neil and his family. Hopefully, somebody will send me or post the funeral arrangements, and I'll see if I can try to make it there and pay my respects. Even though I didn't know him a lot, but he was, out of most of the people in the zone group, he was somebody that I respected, and I shared a lot of stuff that I felt like that I wanted to share with him, uh, to him. So I mean, I'm deeply saddened, as well as many others that were probably closer and knew him a lot longer than I did. But um, I mean, he was a much respected man, and so to his family, to his friends, and to everybody out there, y'all make sure that you keep him in prayer, him and his family, uh, because I mean, we've been losing a lot of people just this year alone in the DJ realm. But when it comes to somebody that's close, it hits a lot more and a lot harder. And he's not the first person uh, this year that I've experienced as a loss from somebody that I knew, that I talked to constant or whatever. But uh, it I mean, even for a moment, it hurts when you first hear it. I mean, when you know it's something that's battling cancer, it it may not go well, and you hear, depending on the situation and the type, that it doesn't go well. But when it hits that, you know that their time has come and they decided to move on, that it hits a little hard. Hits a little harder, but he's in a better place. He's not hurting anymore. He's handling those great events up in the pearly gates. So, um, condolences and prayers out to Neil McKinley and his family. So, enough of that. I'm going to sign off. My name is Kenyon Ellis, aka the Kid. I wish y'all much success. Like I said, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Ring the bell notifications so you will get more notifications when I post videos or when I have a podcast or whatever. So everybody be blessed, stay safe, and I'll see y'all soon. Peace.